A company's balance sheet isn't just some boring page of numbers. It's actually a story. And yeah, like any good story, it can be packed with heroes, villains, and a few shocking plot twists. So today, we're going to learn how to read that story, how to spot the trouble before it blows up, and figure out what the numbers are really telling us. Okay? Let's dive in.
This right here, this is the big question every single one of us has to ask, whether you're an investor, an employee, or just curious. And the wild thing is, the answer is usually hiding in plain sight, right there in the financial statements. The trick is just knowing exactly where to look and what you're looking for. So, for the next few minutes, I want you to put on a new hat. Think of yourself as a financial detective. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to use a special toolkit we're about to unbox to scan a company's balance sheet for clues. Clues that reveal what's really going on with its financial health. And here it is, the toolkit. We're going to focus on 10 very specific red flags you can find on a balance sheet. Think of these as the classic signs of trouble, the fingerprints left at the scene that can warn you about potential problems way before they ever make the headlines. Take a look. From negative working capital all the way to accounting smoke signals, every single one of these is a critical piece of the puzzle. Now, don't worry about trying to memorize this whole list right now. We're going to break them down one by one. All right, so to make this a whole lot easier, we've organized our investigation into 4 main parts. First up, we'll decode any potential cash crunch. Then we'll solve the profit puzzle. After that, we'll investigate the company's foundation. And finally, we'll crack the accounting code. Let's get to it. Okay, first area of investigation, decoding the cash crunch. This is all about short-term survival. I mean, a company can have the greatest product in the world, but if it can't pay its bills next week, well, none of that other stuff even matters. Our very first clue is something called negative working capital. The easiest way to think about it is like this. If your credit card bills that are due this month add up to more than all the money you have in the bank, you're in a really tight spot. That's exactly what this red flag means for a company. Now, this next clue is fascinating because it can hide behind what looks like good news. A company could be reporting record profits on paper. But if its actual cash in the bank is just dwindling month after month, that is a huge warning sign. Always remember, profit is an opinion, but cash is a fact. And this one, oh man, this is a classic trap. Imagine trying to pay for your 30-year mortgage using a credit card that's due in full in 30 days. I mean, it's completely unsustainable, right? Well, when a company uses short-term loans to buy big, long-term things like a factory, it's basically setting itself up for a massive cash squeeze down the road. Okay, let's move on. We've figured out if the company can survive tomorrow, but now we have to ask a tougher question. Are the profits it's claiming even real? This is where we get to solve the profit puzzle. So here, we're looking at the difference between sales and accounts receivable, which is just a fancy term for the money customers owe the company. In a healthy business, sales grow faster than receivables. But when you see the red flag, when receivables are growing faster than sales, it might mean the company is booking sales that it's never going to actually collect the cash for. The profits are there, but the cash is missing. Imagine a bakery that just keeps baking hundreds of loaves of bread every single day, but it only sells a dozen. Pretty soon, the back room is just overflowing with stale bread, right? That's what excess inventory is. It ties up a ton of cash, and it's usually a giant clue that customers just aren't buying what the company's selling anymore. Now, this next one is a little more subtle. Payables are simply the bills a company owes to its suppliers. And if this number seems weirdly low, it might not be a good thing. It could mean the company is desperately delaying payments just to hold on to its cash. Or even worse, it could be hiding some of its debts off the books entirely. All right, detective, we've checked the short-term cash situation, and we've questioned the profits. Now it's time to zoom out and investigate the very foundation of the business. Is its core structure built on solid rock, or is it built on shifting sand? Equity is pretty much the bedrock of a company. It's the owner's stake in the whole thing. So when you see that number shrinking over time, it means ongoing losses are literally eating away at the company's foundation. And, just like a house with a crumbling foundation, it's really only a matter of time before huge problems start to show up. And this chart right here shows you the danger perfectly. Just look at how Company B's debt completely towers over its equity. Having way too much debt is like driving a car way too fast. Sure, it might boost your performance when the times are good, but it makes any little bump in the road potentially catastrophic. So you have to understand that not all assets are created equal. Some things, like cash or a factory, are pretty easy to put a value on. But other things, like goodwill or brand reputation, well, their value is a lot more subjective. They're important for sure, but their value can really be just a matter of opinion. And that brings us to this red flag right here. When a huge chunk of a company's assets is made up of these kind of fuzzy, intangible things, like you see in this chart, you really have to be skeptical. It might mean the balance sheet is just inflated with value that isn't really there, and that could vanish literally overnight. Okay, for our final deep dive, we need to put on our codebreaker hats, because sometimes the real danger isn't in the business itself, but in the accounting. We need to check if the numbers are telling the whole, unvarnished truth. And our last red flag is all about spotting what I call accounting smoke signals, frequent asset revaluations. If you see a company constantly changing the value of its major assets, up or down, it can be a way to paper over losses or make the business look a whole lot healthier than it actually is. It's a huge sign that management might be playing games with the numbers. And just like that, our investigation is complete. You now have 10 critical clues in your detective's toolkit. So let's do a quick recap of the process so you're ready to go out there and conduct your very own investigation. Just remember this simple 4-step framework. Number 1, check the cash flow. That's for immediate survival. Number 2, scrutinize the profits. Make sure they're real. 3, examine the foundation. Look at that mix of equity and debt. And 4, look for those accounting smoke signals. Really, the most important thing to take away from all this is that you do not have to be some Wall Street genius to understand a company's health. The balance sheet tells a story, and with these tools, you now have what you need to read between the lines and understand what's truly going on. So, you've been trained as a financial detective. You've got the toolkit, and you know the clues to look for. The only question left is, which company's story are you going to investigate first?